Another interesting lesson is about policy. Desalination, has two sides, no? So there are those country or society, that they think that, okay, it's expensive, it's high energy consumption, it's, environmentally is not friendly because of the brain discharge, blah, 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 or the carbon footprint. But in the end, we are analyzing, during the last 3 years, that if the water stress is, jeopardizing, or putting at risk the situation of a country, the policymaker, the politics, and so on will do whatever is necessary to ensure the water availability, of the nation. So, for example, UK is one of these examples. I asked a question to the audience. I said, why do you think that we will meet next year in Liverpool, UK, for the the European Desalination Society Congress of 2027? So, it doesn't make sense, right, to have a desalination congress in a country which is probably the rainiest country in Europe, probably in the world. So it's like, it doesn't make sense, right? So people were starting to say, oh yes, with the with the head, but the point is that, that basically the world changed very fast, and then suddenly you can realize that suddenly a country is, making a strategic movement about implementing specific policies, and then this is a huge opportunity for water professionals, but also in desalination. So it's super curious, right? That, for example, people that have been working in desalination in Middle East, which is the most water-stressed region, which it makes sense actually, to bring desalination, as a lifeline of the country. Now we have a huge pool of opportunities to create value in desalination, of course in reuse, but in desalination in the United Kingdom. So it's something that, I would never have thought about it in 3 years ago, let's say, when I started. Another interesting lesson is that, in the community, in the Water MBA, we have different, how can I say, members along the supply chain. Okay, so we have representatives of the staker, of the developer, we have contractors, we have designers, we have suppliers. So basically, the point is that we need all each other. Okay, so basically, when there is a client, especially an upper client, at any level, trying to over-specify, over-demand, some requirements, not to have a much better plan for any reason. Sometimes be careful, because the shock is, is important, and we need to consolidate these requirements from bottom to top. So, and in cost and in scale. So this balance is a headache for many of us, as you know, and we have been discussing about this in some of our chat. But sometimes when a client is requesting a specific requirement, and the suppliers is not able to meet that, so it's always a source of learning, because you get out of your comfort zone. Maybe we are doing a step incremental, improvement step, but really this is super important to be very careful, because, as I said, sometimes we can commit some mistakes in our projects only because we think that we are trying to do it better, but actually we are not actually achieving that goal. I discussed before. We have also learned that desalination is not only about Middle East, Australia, Singapore, and so on. So desalination now is also, especially mega desalination plants, is not only now for Middle East region, but also north of Africa is super active in terms of big mega scale desalination plants. So, for example, the Congress was held in Morocco. So obviously this is one of the reasons, for Morocco is now pushing, and expanding a lot the desalination capacity as a national, let's say, lifeline. But also Egypt, there is a certain relevant inflow of members, okay, coming into the Water MBA with the main demand of understanding and getting better the water. So basically, desalination in these two countries, for example, I said to the audience that they should take a look and be ready for the opportunities that are coming up at any level. I know, for example, manufacturers and companies now that are building their own office or factory in Egypt, because, as I said, the pipeline is so huge, probably the investment will be worth investing now in being locally present in Nigeria.